new statistics released this morning, well, they reveal that 1.17 billion was lost to fraud in the UK last year. Well, Claire is here now. Shocking statistics. You almost can't get your head around that number, can you?
No, and £1 billion again, because this is roughly the same level that we saw the year before. Now, the banks are stopping more of that fraud, and certainly more of us are getting our money back. But there's been a big rise in the number of people who are affected by scams. 3.3 million people last year. That's a rise of around 12%, because the scammers are changing their techniques with the times, the way that they con money out of us. Some methods of fraud are on the way up, others are on the way down. Now, within these numbers from UK Finance, the biggest rise is something called remote purchase fraud. So this is when, like, your credit card details or your bank card details are stolen, but in order to use them to buy stuff online, the criminals need to know a little piece of information. That could be the expiry date on your card, or it could be a one-time passcode that your bank sends you now to authorise online transactions. And if they can find a way to trick humans into giving it to them, then they can get stuff sent to their address. So that is really on the rise. More money lost to purchase scams than ever before, 87 million quid. Now, that normally stems from fake ads on social media. You click to order something, goods never turn up, but increasingly concert tickets and also holiday rentals, people saying, come off the site, pay me by bank transfer, don't do it. But, you know, you can lose a lot of money if you do that. Investment scams also on the rise, often connected to crypto. Be very wary. CEO fraud, the so-called email from the boss fraud, where at work you might get a message, looks like it's from your boss saying, please urgently approve this payment. It turns out to be a con. Average amount of money lost to that, £40,000 per case, you know, big money. So companies increasingly being targeted, as we've seen, of course, with cyber hack at Marks and Spencer's. Now, the things that are going down the fraud charts, a big fall in what's called authorised fraud, where we're told it's your bank on the phone, move your money to a safe account. People are getting wise to that.
Probably because you keep telling them.
Yes, well, thank you for giving me the chance. But a small fall too in romance fraud, because people are becoming more aware. That's something we've done many items on. And then the good news is more people are getting their money back now that the new fraud reimbursement rules are in place. 86% of victims got all of their money back within 3 months, but the banks, they want the social media companies to do more to prevent fraud, because it's still very stressful, even if you do get your money back.
Yeah, of course it is. It's terrible. It's the Wild West. And it's just, it doesn't make any sense at all, does it? Now, this is an interesting one. Water bills are rising. How can we keep the cost down? OK, lots of people have been asking me about this. So there's more households now on water meters than ever before, around 60%. So let's start with that. If you want to cut your bills, you've got to cut your consumption. So the charity WaterAid, they've told me that showers, taking a shower, can account for up to a quarter of your water bill. So they suggest set a timer in the shower for 4 minutes max. You can get one. They've also created a 4-minute shower hits playlist on Spotify. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Then you know exactly how long you should be doing it for.
People are getting a lot more canny about reusing water, so saving water from things like, you know, the washing up to water the garden. If you're paying by the litre, then, you know, you want to be tipping it down the drain.
Absolutely.
Water butts becoming very popular, but of course there hasn't been very much rain down south, to collecting them. And then obviously fixing any leaks or dripping taps, the amount of water that can waste is huge. Now, if you don't have a water meter, your bill will probably be calculated according to rateable value. That could be much higher. If you live in like a block of flats, like me, for example, where it's impossible for the water meter, for the water company to fit a meter, you could ask to be moved to something called the assessed charge. They all have a slightly different name for it, but it's an average of what they think you'll consume. You could save money by moving to that. 1 in 10 customers of water companies are on some kind of financial assistance with their bills. Now, that could be because you're on a low income. They could slash your bills by up to 90%, depending on your circumstances. Also, if you can't get a meter, you could get a discount for being single, if you're a single person household. Now, lots of people are shocked when I tell them this.
I know, I didn't know that.
But the trick is, every water company has got a different system, different eligibility criteria, so you need to get on their website and you need to ask for this. It's not something that they'll offer to you necessarily.
So you need to be proactive.
Considering the savings, it's definitely well worth having a look.
Winter fuel we've talked about, and you know, honestly, really. But there is supposed to be this U-turn. What do we know? What do we know? I mean, are there going to be cuts? Are we going to be, you know, are people not going to have to wait for their money? What's happening?
OK, so the bottom line is we're probably not going to find out until the budget in the autumn.
OK.
But the Prime Minister has said, in Prime Minister's Question Time, he wants to reinstate the winter fuel allowance for more pensioners.
OK.
Now, he hasn't said how, when, who, why, what the criteria will be. But if they want to get the money out in time for this winter, which, considering the rising political heat on this, I think they'll have to do, experts think the only way that they can do that in time is by giving everybody back the winter fuel allowance. £1.5 billion will be the cost for that. But then, could they try and claw some money back from the richer pensioners by taxing it? So if you're a basic rate taxpayer, you pay 20% tax on it, higher rate, 40% would go. But that's one way of doing it. But the downside of that, Lorraine, is like not every person completes a tax return, so it could create a lot of admin.
And that's true. That's true. They said it was going to be too complicated and too expensive to almost like means test it, I guess.
Yeah.
But surely there must be a way to make sure that the money gets to the people that need it the most.
Well, certainly. Giving it only to people on pensions credit, charities have said the cut-off is too low. You'll only get it if your income is roughly below £12,000 if you're a single person, or £18,000 if you're a couple. More people need help. Could they give it to everybody over 80? Could they give it to everybody who can say, I'm on council tax band A to D? All of these things have been spoken about, but, you know, he's let the cat out of the bag. What a mess. But we haven't got the details.
What a mess. Now, look, if things are tight, you can actually make money just by sitting on your sofa. Is this true?
1 in 5 of us, it said, now has a side hustle to supplement their regular income. Now, you can earn up to £1,000 in most cases without having to pay tax if you're doing things. So some popular ways, especially if you're using technology to create some extra cash that you may not have heard of, renting out your driveway if you've got one. There's lots of apps, Just Park and Park on My Drive.
OK.
You could make a couple of £100 from that. More if you live in a popular area or near to a train station. Now, completing surveys and online testing, these are ways where people can earn a lot of money doing, you know, market research, we used to call it. But I would say, is that a side hustle or more of a side hassle? Because you do have to spend an awful lot of time doing these things for the money to rack up. Then pet sitting. Now, again, apps are putting people who want to look after pets for money and people who own pets and are busy in touch with each other. So
that's a good idea.
Ones to look at, Rover, Barking Mad or Paw Shake, and you could, if you look after somebody's doggy overnight, earn between £20 and £32.
It would all add up. It would all add up. Now, look, everybody's intrigued by this. Matthew Good earlier on said he wants to do this. A way to get a holiday for under £100 for £99. How is this working?
OK, voucher at this company. It's a gimmick. They're saying a £99 mystery holiday, but you don't know where it's going to be when you pay. Now, some people, I've been on all the online forums checking this out, yes, you know, some people have won Maldives, Barbados, Thailand, trips to Mexico.
Really?
They are in the minority. Most of the ones that are being given away are holidays between 2 to 7 nights to destinations in Europe. Now, the catch is there are hidden costs. You could live in Manchester, but the flight will be from London. If you want to change that, you've got to pay. Obviously, you don't get to decide the destination. It could be a beach place, it could be a city break. If you don't want it, you want to move it, there'll be a fee to pay. Flight times often very early in the morning or very late at night. Again, airports can be further away from the destination than you might. But, you know, if you're getting a holiday for £99, perhaps you should expect this. If you want to upgrade, you've got to pay a fee. And often it's only hand baggage only on the flights, so another cost there. So go into it with your eyes open, have some fun. £99, you could be lucky.
You never know. You never know. You could get that dream trip to the Maldives. Thank you, Claire. Thank you so much.
Ready to boost your savings, grow your pension pot and make every penny count? Well, we've got loads of Money Clinic videos right here on the channel. Check out this one for even more expert advice.